Hello, and welcome to an episode of Todd Talks, and Todd Talks people listen. Hopefully. It's an odd feeling, isn't it? It's an odd feeling, knowing that we're at the end of the Death Battle season, and we have to wait an interminable amount of time for the next season to arrive. The Death Battle intermission is a or someone else. But yes, I am here today to talk about Death Battle Season 10 and everything that happened with it, ranking my favorite matchups, and revealing how I did in the season. And what a season it was. I mean, it started off a certain way, and then it had a little bit of ups and downs, not gonna lie. I know a lot of people you felt that way, and then it like totally hit hyperdrive in the back half, and it didn't look back, and it was awesome. And yeah, it's been a good season, and it's been one full of memories for all of us, both big and small, which I will talk about during this episode. But one thing I want to talk about first is that I actually did really good with my predictions for this year. If you recall, I always do a prediction video about what I feel might happen in the upcoming season, and I actually had a really good amount right. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. I had 5.5. The half was Martian Manhunter. If you recall, I said Martian Manhunter versus Piccolo. I didn't even think about Silver Surfer. But yeah, I got Ant-Man, Atom, Stitch, Rocket, Guts, Dimitri, because I tied them into Edelgard, Kylo Ren, Martian Manhunter, Gojo Maka, and Galactus Unicron. So yeah, I got 5.5 matchups right. I'm really proud of myself. Usually I get like maybe 1 or 2, but I hit technically a third. I hit a third of the matchups right. Boom. Oh yeah, and that's obviously not including the ones we already knew about, so it's actually over a third. So yeah, I'm awesome. But yeah, let's recap this season, shall we? Let's see how it all went. First up was Ant-Man versus Atom, which was again one of the ones I predicted. I just didn't predict it would be the first matchup, but then again, I also didn't know when the season would air, so take what you can. This one was interesting, I guess. I saw a chat about this on the Death Battle Discord recently. It's about, do the DC Marvel matchups resonate as much as they used to? And I would say to an extent that they don't. But the context here is also, is it a matchup we care about? And this will also tie into a future one that I'll get to. But if it's not presented the right way, or if it's not fun in certain elements, it's not going to be as great as like some of the original ones where it was like, yeah, these are the matchups we've always wanted to know. Did people really want to know Ant-Man versus Atom? Probably not. And I understand why they did this. And again, I was why I predicted it, because of Ant-Man Quantumania, which was terrible. Okay, it wasn't terrible. It was mid. It was so mid. All right, like this was not the way to start off season 5 or phase 5. And now we have the Kang issue, which is something I'm sure Marvel is scrambling on right now. But it was an okay episode. It wasn't the best way to start out the season, and the fight was okay. The ant death was definitely something, but yeah. Also, did you notice my Wiz shirt? Yep, I got the Wiz shirt for Christmas. Yeah, I'd rather talk about the shirt than Ant-Man Atom. So, but I predicted Atom would win, as did the G1 blog. So yeah, not the best way to start off the season, but I bounced back with Dragonborn. Yes, the chosen undead versus the Dovahkiin, Dragonborn. Because this was the first 3D fight of the season, and it was a fight that I can honestly say I was a part of, because I was in the Death Battle choir, and that was a really cool experience. I got to work with Brandon Yates, and I met some really cool people, and we really worked hard on that song. I really liked Fireborn as how it turned out. It's better than I could have imagined. I was binging that song, not just to hear myself, but you can hear me multiple times during there. It's really cool, and I'm really glad Brandon put me in these spots. But the fight was great. I love the analysis. I love how the fight went, how the song tied into the fight. The way they broke down the lore, and even just like the little comedy beats, like having Jocelyn having to try to decipher Dark Souls lore and how crazy that all is. It was a really great fight, and hint, it's in my top 5. But yeah, I picked Dragon, I picked the Dovahkiin, and I won. Next up was one of the surprise fights of the season, I will say that. It was Killua from Hunter x Hunter and Misaka from a certain scientific railgun and a certain magical index. 2 new franchises. So, actually, that was 4. Yeah, so Dragonborn, or Skyrim, Elder Scrolls, and Dark Souls, and these 2. So that was 4 new franchises within the first 3 fights. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, Deathball. Nice job on that. I think people underestimate this fight and how underrate it, because it was honestly really fun. I mean, it was one of the shorter fights, shorter episodes, if I recall, and I really loved how they handled the sprites. Like these were high quality custom sprites, and I liked how they had like the banter between Killua and Misaka, how they like traverse the area via their running or their skateboard. The kaiju, like Luis said, like the shot of Killua going up for the lightning strike on the kaiju was awesome, and I loved the bottle cap being the thing that helped Misaka get the victory, and like her counting down the trajectory until she got the kill shot. I thought it was a fun fight. I really did. I definitely prefer that over Ant-Man Adam. But I picked Misaka. I was right. So 2 victories. Next up was another one of my predictions I got right. It was Slot versus Rocket Raccoon. This was another good one. It wasn't as fun for me because I did not get to voice Stitch, and Stitch did not talk as much as I wanted to. Like, I'm going to hold that against them, because I sent my voice thing with Stitch a while ago. Like, not even like this year ago, but like years ago. So I was available. But it was fun. It was just great seeing Stitch and Death. Like this is one of those times where it's like, you love the character and you want to be represented well, and I loved how they dove into like the original series, the movies, the Stitch anime, and even like the games and such, because there's a lot more Stitch lore than people realize at times. And I loved how even with all of Rocket's weapons, it just wasn't enough. And like I said, if Sly Cooper could not be the one to kill Rocket Raccoon, I'm glad it was Stitch. So I picked Stitch, obviously. So I was doing pretty good there, and then I hit my wall, because next up was Vader Obito. Now this was a double art in this fight. One of 2 we got this season. 2? Yeah, 2 we got this season. I know a lot of people wanted this matchup. I didn't really care for it matchup-wise, because I'm not an Naruto fan, so I didn't really know about Obito. I get the connections between him and Anakin and Vader, so I didn't mind that. My biggest problem was that the fight was fun, but the ending I felt was a little weird. And this is actually something that happened multiple times in this season, where they almost try to do like multiple fake out endings, and you're like, okay, this is when they're gonna break out. They're gonna like, this is a fake out, this is gonna happen, and then it just like didn't. And I felt that way because if you recall, Obito uses the infinite Tsukuyomi to get Vader to think that he's with Padme, and then he kills him with that massive sword thing. And the way they framed the shot and like how they lingered, I thought, okay, Vader's gonna come out of the rubble and just totally kill him, and he didn't. And a lot of people felt that way. So it was a fun fight, but I didn't think it was. It didn't resonate with that ending. And I picked Vader, so I lost. And then next one was the bird battle. This one hurt because I picked Phoenix because a lot of people picked Phoenix. Just like this was our version of Scarlet Witch, Zatanna, because everyone's like, oh, the Phoenix is everything, like yada yada yada, and like, oh yeah, Raven's beating Trigon, but it's not like that impressive. But yeah, it was that impressive. And I didn't dig deep enough apparently with Raven. I had no idea about like the rings that could seal her, and this was one of many fights that was about soul damage versus everything else. And In fact, there was 3 or 4 ones that were determined or not determined because of soul damage. And this was one where like I didn't know about how the Phoenix couldn't save souls. I had no idea. So even though Raven is my favorite Teen Titan, followed closely by Starfire, I picked Phoenix and I was wrong. So I was on a 2-match losing streak. So I went from 3-1 to 3-3 in a couple of matchups. That was not my best time. But then we got the matchup that I had been begging for so long. We got a Fire Emblem character in Death Battle. We got Guts Dimitri. Yes! Oh my gosh, that was awesome. Okay, most of it was awesome. Yeah, if you recall my reaction video, I had thoughts, but I appreciated not only just the refresh of who Guts was, but this was all about Dimitri. This was about, Fire Emblem and the epic lore of 3 houses, and even 3 hopes, and showcasing why Dimitri was worthy of being the first Fire Emblem representative in this season. And it was great. Like, I overall, it was great. My only complaint, and this is again tying back to Vader Obito, I didn't like the ending. And I know everyone's like, but the Guts death was beautiful. I'm like, but Guts lost. Okay, that ending, and I know that Chad's like the biggest Berserk fan around, but it wasn't about Guts. It was about Dimitri. Dimitri won, and to me, as a big Dimitri fan, I felt it was disingenuous that he won as the wild boar. You can watch my reaction video for my full thoughts on this, but long story short, every time in the main canon that Dimitri becomes the boar, he dies. That's the canon. He can't win as the boar. It's not enough. And I wanted him to see him become the king of Blue Lion, not the wild boar. And even at the end he's like, you demons will not have his soul. It's just like, and they just like leaves and we see Guts in the moonlight. And yes, that was a beautiful shot. That's Zack Snyder style of shot right there. And yes, I liked Rebel Moon. Deal with it. No, if there's any Rebel Moon hate in my comments, you'll find your comments removed. All right, this is a Death Battle channel. Leave it at that. I was glad that Fire Emblem not only got in but won, but they could have done a little bit better. And I say that as a Fire Emblem fan. So, but I picked Dimitri. Dimitri won, and there we go. All right, next up was Martian Manhunter, my half point for the season, versus Silver Surfer. I can't believe I didn't think of this matchup. I can't believe I didn't think more people posting this matchup. Like I seriously never saw Martian Manhunter versus Silver Surfer. If I did, I don't recall it. Maybe one person in Ballot Banter did it. Maybe, I don't know. But this was an interesting matchup because this in many ways was the teaser. In fact, if you count it, this is episode 8. So halfway through the season, they were literally heralding in Galactus. Galactus. So yeah, that was But for me, this episode, much like Ant-Man Atom, while this one was a better scaling, I don't feel it actually showed off the characters as best as they could. Like, they started off really cleverly with that noir scene, mind over matter and all that. And then it just became kind of basic. Like, there was, very basic attacks. Yes, we saw, some shape-shifting with Jean and everything, but it just didn't feel as grand in scope. And then at the ending, which I know a lot of people liked, and it was interesting, but like the very long monologue with Silver Surfer about, I know not the reason why we are doing this. And, it keeps going on, and Jean with, I hope you can live with the uncertainty. It was cool, but it felt very weird for a death battle. And then, ironically, Boomstick was the one who had the, existential crisis. Like, why are we having these beautiful souls fight each other? So, good times. But, and a teaser for a certain other episode, if you recall. But, this one just didn't hit. This was just not one that hit. I'm sorry. And I hope when they do the next DC versus Marvel matchup that it's like this big, grand, epic fight, like something spectacular versus one that's just kind of there, you know what I mean? So we'll see. All right, next up was the beginning of another surprise because we had back-to-back ballot champion winners with Bill Cord and Colex back-to-back. Like, I don't think anyone expected that. If you recall my prediction video, I thought one would happen in the first half and one would happen in the back half. I was wrong, and I'm glad. But first up was Bill Cord. Bill Cord. Yes, this was a fun one just because it was so nuts. Like, and they reveled in it. They had Bill possess Wiz. They had Discord show up and give them substantiation by showing them their real selves. And then the fight itself was just so hilariously weird, with all the different mediums that they went to. 2D, 3D, the puppets, the what's that called? Like the Cuphead bendy animation style. It was awesome. There was just so much fun in this episode. Like, these episodes prove kind of why this ballot was right to do it, because they put everything into these episodes to make it shine. My only problem, yes, here we go again, it was the ending, because they did like fake out, and then it was just like, oh, wait a minute, Bill's trapped back in the nightmare realm. So that's why on the Death Battle Discord, they were like, well, Bill won the battle, but Discord won the war because he saved Ponyville. And, we even saw, Fluttershy mourning as she saw the note from Discord. And remember, he said he would teach Bill Cipher a lesson in friendship. And he did, because sometimes you sacrifice yourself to save your friends. So the battle, was fun, but then that ending was just like, wait a minute, another fake out? Like, seriously? Like, another, this is going to be a fake out, but it doesn't? A fake out, I guess? But even with that, the episode was incredible, and I loved the Discordant Cipher by Brandon Yates was awesome. I have that on loop in my head many times. A talking triangle taking me on, that's cute. I'm the undisputed lord of chaos, there's no room for you. I love it. It's easily one of the best songs of the season. What is the best song of the season? There's too many. You got Super, you got Fireborn, you got Discordant Decipher. There was a lot of great songs. And actually all three I named were by Brandon Yates. But I'm not saying that Forever Terror Night, there you go. So, there was a lot of great songs. This was a very fun one. This made it worth it. And we all now know to fear Bill Cipher with everything that we have. Is that a triangle over there? No. I'm sure there is. I have a triangle somewhere. All right, next up was Colex. I think some people underappreciate this one, too, because it's like, okay, you got it. You finally got this matchup. Shut up, right? And I get that. I really do. But, this one I really liked because they dove into not just the stories, but kind of the different paths that could happen and did happen, because these characters are very similar in that they had the options of light versus darkness, and Cole McGrath chose light and Alex Mercer chose darkness, but the options were always there, and I liked that. And there was a serious darkness to it at times, with Boomstick's monologue at the end of Alex Mercer. It was what's more human than wanting to take over the world, to bring others under your heel? And I'm sorry, isn't that the freaking truth right now? But it was also hilarious to see, they're like, what is with this script? I had to say awesome sauce. I say awesome sauce for the record. But I love the battle and the battle track with Omega Sparks and SWAT. Great job, guys. That was another banger of a track for the season, and I liked how they, started off the fight very basically, just exchanging attacks, and then hey, we're gonna go over here, then we're over here, we're gonna go in the building, or outside the building, we're on the the tower, and then we're not, and then we're doing the tornado, and it was just on and on and on and on and on. I loved the verticality of it all, and the we're not just gonna stay in this one area, we're gonna battle all out here. And it was a lot of fun. And then, and of course, that was the city that they used for Galactron, so that was hilarious. We're a lot better without you. Oh, crap. It's because Galactus right there. But this was a very fun fight, and I'm glad people finally got to see it, and it did well enough. So clearly there were people who were willing to watch it, and in the end, isn't that what matters? All right, next up was Sorry, I forgot a couple. I picked Discord, which was really close. Like everyone, like I got the moral victory on that one. I won't count it in my score, but I got the moral victory. And then I picked Cole McGrath, so I got that one. So I was 1 for 2 for the champion ballots. Next up was Frieza Megatron. Yes, we finally got a Dragon Ball character. Ha ha ha. This was a fun fight. This was another Devil Artemis fight. Great animation, great voice acting. Pacing. The pacing was great. The Megatron monologue was excellent. Behold, old Frieza, rule of a dying planet, my planet. And so on and so forth. And Cybertronians, I must kill all of them. The good stuff. I'm glad that I picked Frieza, and I was right. And it was a fun fight, and again, once again, a herald for what was to come. So, good stuff. Next up is my last loss of the season. I'm very grateful for that. That was another one that I picked correctly. It was Gojo Maka. I mean, seriously, if they didn't do that one this year, they would have regretted it, even with what happened with Gojo in the last couple months. This one was interesting because despite it being like easily one of the most hyped death battle matchups and currently the most watched episode of season 10, I just didn't feel it. I mean, it was beautiful. I liked a lot of what they did with it, but it didn't seem like Gojo was ever in, because of how the battle went, especially at the beginning. It just didn't feel like Gojo was ever in danger, And there's got to be like a level of threat here. And the only time we really saw Gojo in danger was like right at the end, where he was getting, gotta be careful how I say this, finger shot. That still sounds weird. Blasted, I guess, by Makama's attacks, which was interesting to say that would bypass the infinity and all that. But it just didn't feel as grandiose as it could. Like, look at Tatsumaki Mob. Like, that one was okay. Tatsumaki totally won, but she got hurt a lot by Mob, and they showed that. And I didn't feel that as much with Gojo Makima. And then this was like one of the few death battles this season where I had an issue with how they analyzed it. Because they said that there was no way that Makima could ever control Gojo. And I'm not sure that's actually true, but just based on my own research and the research I saw in the G1 blog, which was only 1 vote more for Gojo. And I don't know. And then the way they say, like, okay, so the finger blasts would hurt Gojo, but it wouldn't kill him. Like, but that doesn't make sense, because why couldn't she just blow off his head like she did with Power? I don't know. There was some weirdness in there. So I picked Makima to win, and Gojo was the best. I get it. All right, I lost. Whatever. But then everything started to change, because we had, I would argue, one of the best 4-episode blocks in Death Battle history. Starting, of course, with Scooby Courage. Oh my gosh. I still can't believe they did this fight. I mean, we are blessed to have gotten this. Like, we always hear this term, this is peak. This was peak. Okay? I'm serious. Like, this was peak. I loved it. I loved everything about it. There's some small visual gripes, but, that's very, very small. And obviously I could have done a really good Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Dooby-Doo! Raggy! I can't do Courage. I could do his laugh. But that's about it. I can't do the Courage voice for whatever reason. Anyway, this was incredible. And this was so much fun to research. I rewatched all of Courage the Cowardly Dog. I am going on a Scooby binge. I've been doing a Scooby binge ever since the episode aired. I mean, I've watched so far Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? What's New Scooby-Doo? I am doing Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo. Yes, Scrappy is as annoying as advertised. I saw an article say he's not that bad. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. I'm watching a whole bunch of Scooby movies, and it's just hilarious seeing what they used, what they didn't use, etc., etc. The fight was great. Forever Terror Night was awesome. Rising above the fight on this forever terror night. Oh, it's great. And then like the Asura's Wrath punch to the courage. Ah, you know. My only gripe with this is that it's only 2 million right now. This should be easily Gojo Maka levels, or the certain other episode I'm about to talk about, where it's like they're both over 3 million right now. Scooby-Doo Courage should be over. Like this should be like our Omni-lander of this year, because it's Scooby freaking Doo, guys. Like come on, let's watch it a few more times and get it up to those high levels. It was great. It was great. I loved it so much. Next up was Rick Doctor, which was very timely. Because of the 60th anniversary specials, which aired with David Tennant back as the 14th Doctor. And this one was fine. It was a fine episode. I like this episode more for the analysis, especially for the analysis of the Doctor, versus the fight. The fight was fine. There were some really great moments, like the arcade with all the references and the characters in the background. And the voice acting. The voice acting was really top notch. The fight itself was just okay, because it's like the whole point was that the Doctor never really threw a punch. Like the Doctor was always on the defense, and much like, let's say, like a Gojo Maka, he's never really in danger. Even during regeneration, where he's like at his weakest, never felt like he was going to die. But I loved like the Weeping Angels bit, and because I was totally something the Doctor would do, and then Adam say, to the portal in the back. That was great stuff. I still think a better ending would have been Morty, or the Doctor finding Morty, and like, hey, you want to come along? I could use a new companion. I think that would have been a little more funny of an ending. But still, it was good stuff, and I'm glad the Doctor got in, especially with their 60th anniversary, which was solid episodes all around. And then the episode that no one, and I mean no one, saw coming, the 10th anniversary special. That was Goku vs. Superman. The definitive Goku vs. Superman. The episode that Wiz, our very own Ben Singer, put everything he had into. He wrote it, he directed it, he wanted to make sure that everything that could be talked about would be talked about. And he succeeded. I've watched it multiple times. It's great. I loved it. The battle was super. There were so many excellent moments, including the multiverse Sun Punch versus the Ultra Instinct Kamehameha. Finally, like that shot with Goku going full silver was incredible. The song was amazing. The analysis with the philosophical talk about it's East versus West. It's the standard that doesn't change versus the ever-evolving hero. Who would ever want Goku to lose? How Goku vs. Superman has entered the greater zeitgeist with the every rap battles of history reference, and among other things. Ben understands the importance of this matchup, and he understood that with the first 2 episodes. The second one, which of course he does not like, there were issues, there were problems, there were questions, and he wanted to solve it. He wanted to say, like, this is it. No matter what happens, this is it. This is the proof. And they even fixed the whole, like, this is the Dragon Ball universe is 13 times bigger. It's not. Even though they just talked about it with the Frieza fight. They found a small detail that proved that, it was much, much, much larger. So that was impressive. Like, even that's why they had to go so deep, and they were working on this for years to make sure that everything that they could put in for Goku versus Superman was there, and it was just this beautiful thing. Like, this is what passion projects are all about. When you're passionate about something, you will put everything you have to make it shine, and you will not deliver it until it is done. As a comic writer, I fully understand that. So, good stuff. Thank you, Mr. Singer. That was great stuff. And then finally, there was Galactatron. Yes, we finally got Galactus vs. Unitron, and as my last of the correct picks that I predicted. What's there to say? Like, there was a scale to this that was just magnificent. I'm not sure we need the iambic pentameter talk, but it was very, godly, for lack of a better term. And they did a different kind of feel for the analysis, because it wasn't just about like, oh, he has like this kind of blast, he has this kind of blast, he has this kind of blast. Like, they're planet eaters. Like, they are universe destroyers. They affect the multiverse. This is what they do. They had to talk about how they were more conceptual beings and what it meant to be Galactus and Unicron. And I appreciated that. I think that given what we just had with Goku versus Superman, it was impossible to top it choreography wise, especially since, again, these are planet eaters and like massive scale beings. They did do a lot of really cool stuff with like Unicron getting the galaxy to become his new body, which was really cool. And then of course the ultimate nullifier, which is, I correctly predicted would be the end result. It was great stuff. It wasn't the best, and if I recall correctly, it's not in my top 5. Which is hilarious when you think about it, but I just think there was better. So, but it was a fun way. We finally got some of the most wanted matchups. If we're looking at the list of like the ones that we absolutely needed just this year, we got I said Gojo Maka was on there. We got Goku versus Superman. We got Galactatron. Bill Cord and Colex. So yeah, so that's like 5 matchups. A third of this season was like some of the most wanted matchups you could ever ask for. That's pretty cool, don't you think? All right, so my final tally of this year, the matches I lost were Ant-Man, Adam, Vader, Obito, Phoenix Raven, Bill Cord, and Gojo Maka. So, and remember, Scooby Courage. Sorry, I kept forgetting. I forgot to talk about what I picked. I picked Frieza. I picked lost with Gojo. I said Scooby Courage could be a tie, and I was right. So we got that tie. That was awesome. I picked the Doctor. I picked Superman. I picked Galactus. So yeah, 11 and 5. Pretty cool, huh? That's pretty good, and especially since I was again at a tie 3-3 at one point in the season. I bounced back rather well. One of my better death battle seasons for sure. And now, as I wrap up this video, I will talk about my top 5. Starting with number 5, wait for it, it's Colex. I know, right? I really enjoyed this fight. I liked how they handled it. I liked how they handled the different powers, the choreography, the song was great. Again, I love how they used the city to showcase a whole bunch of things. It could have been a very static fight, pun intended. But instead, they made it very versatile, and I loved that. And I'm glad that fans finally got this matchup that they wanted. Number 4, Bill Cord. Yes, Bill Cord. This was easily best 2D fight of the season. Sprite fight. Let's say Sprite fight. Best Sprite fight of the season. You know where this is going. Best Sprite fight of the season. It was. I love how they handled everything. Even with the weird fake out ending, there was a lot to love here. The voice acting, the song, the showing the different visual mediums. There was so much to enjoy there, and you could see why people and Chad were so excited for this fight. Number 3, Chosenborn. Yes, Chosenborn. This for a long time was the number 1 fight for me. This was just that good. Like, seriously, it was the best. But then things happened, and all of a sudden it's like, that was great, but these are better. But like the choreography, the way they had like the lore wrapped around the fight with the, link the fire, take out the fire, etc., etc. And of course, Fireborn's song. I'm not biased at all. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I was one of the names in Bill Cord when they did the Bill Cipher, so that was fun. I didn't ask for that, so thank you, DJ Tiki. But yeah, that was Chosenborn was great. There's just so much I could say about that, but we gotta move on. Number 2, I know some people will be sad about this one, but Goku versus Superman. Yes, Goku vs. Superman was number 2 for me, for the simple reason that it was so dang good. I mean, again, the analysis, the fight, the song, the philosophical feelings about what Death Battle is and why they do it in the first place. Because it's fun, Wiz! Because it's fun! And so on and so forth. There's so much to enjoy. If you've never seen Death Battle before, there are a few episodes I would say, like, watch this one, and you'll totally get it. This is one of the new ones I'm going to say. because it's just so great. It's just so great. So thank you again, Mr. Singer, for putting everything you had in this one, because it worked, it showed, and it's a highlight for sure. So what's number one? Ant-Man Adam. I'm joking. It's Scooby Courage. Oh my gosh, I have watched this episode the most out of any this season. I just watched it the other day, actually. It was either yesterday or the day before, I forget. But no, it was on Christmas, because I went over later than I usually would, because my parents like, don't come over until noon because we're all sleeping in. So I woke up and at like 11:30. I'm like, what am I gonna do for 30 minutes? I'm like, let's watch Scooby Courage. That's how I felt. If I have like a 20-minute car ride, I put on Scooby Courage. If I just like, I need something to like really make me feel great, I put on Scooby Courage. I just love this fight. I got to see two of the cartoons that I adored growing up and still adore now. Again, I'm doing a Scooby binge. Go at it, and no one died. Like this in many ways is peak death battle, because it showed just how deep they went into it. They're like, okay, they're both incredibly strong. They can just break anything and break themselves. They could regenerate from anything. Okay, what do we do? Hey, let's see if they can do soul damage. No one can do soul damage. Oh, Scooby's got a chest of demons, but Courage has got the dark matter meteor. They cancel each other out. That's peak right there. When you cycle through and you go, wait a minute, we have nothing that we can't say that they kill each other. That's a draw. It's a true modern death battle draw, and I love it. So it was all really, really fun. I love it. Heck, I might watch it later today. Who knows? Forever Terror Night was just perfect reference to the great Scooby songs of the movies and such. The animation, the ending with Eustace dying, ooga booga booga, and everything. I don't like dog killers, Wiz. There's so much to love about this fight. Like this is a fight I could just talk about forever alongside GVS, and Chosen Born. But it was great. I loved it, and I actually feel bad for Death Battle Season 11, because I'm like, you guys got to top a lot of really good episodes, and that's just the truth. So, with that, I'm ending this episode of Todd Talk, but we are still not done. I got one episode left in me. I got one more. I got one more in me. Because next week I will be doing my prediction video for Season 11 of Death Battle. So, once again, if you have matchups that you think the Death Battle absolutely will put into Season 11 outside of Tom Cat versus Wile E. Coyote, please let me know in the comments below. And if I really like your matchup, I will put it in the prediction video. So, I thank you for watching. If you made it this far, I know you were listening, and I'll see you around.